Today we are going to look at how to set up your Canon camera for dark skin. I remember when I had just started doing photography, I had this small Canon camera. It was not an overly professional camera, it was a Canon 350D. The fact that I work in Africa, and which means I work mostly with dark skinned people, I was a wedding photographer back in the day, and I used to face a big challenge. Most of the times when you were shooting a bride wearing a white gown, if you got the exposures of the skin right, you used to have the gown actually burning out all the details. And if you got the details of the gown right, most of the times the skin tones came out very, very dark, in that you could not see the transition from the different shades of brown. I had to figure out a way on how to get both the gown and the skin tones of the person that I was photographing right. Then I discovered this one setting that changed the entire outlook of the images that I was shooting. And to date, I still use the same setting, because this particular setting is going to help you actually expand on the dynamic range of the camera, in that the details in the shadow areas are going to be more emphasized, and the details in the highlights are also going to be more emphasized. Actually, you have something in between. Okay, before we dive into this video, please take a minute to subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and of course leave comments below of what exactly has resonated with you. And if you're a beginner photographer or even an advanced photographer and you want to take your retouching to the next level, and you want to master retouching, create those high-end fashion magazine quality images, click the first link in the description below and join the Retouching Secrets masterclass today. Let's get into the tutorial already. And these are the camera settings I use when I'm doing photography. First of all, the camera is in manual mode right now. Most of the times my starting point when I'm setting it up for shutter speeds is usually 125, because there I'm safe that I won't have any form of camera shake within my whole image. Then the next thing I do definitely is ISO. I just press the ISO button just up right here. Okay, sorry, it shut down. Just up right here. And if I'm using any form of artificial lighting, definitely I put the ISO in 100, and that is how I set up my camera for portraits. Now, when it comes to dynamic range, since I work with a lot of dark skin, I have to do this particular camera setting so that I have a full tonal range of the browns, because people from African descent have different shades of brown. So usually what I do, I set up that in what they call the picture style. So I come back here into the menu, just right here, and then I come into here, picture style. So I come into picture style here. I don't shoot in two portrait profiles. Reason being, I love my pictures a bit vibrant, and the only picture style that gives me those vibrant, punchy kind of images is usually the landscape format. So I come into the landscape format picture style right here, like that, and then I press the info button, and right here I just come and only work onto the contrast knob just to expand its dynamic mode. For example, if it is a bride and they are putting on a white gown or something, and they are dark skinned, when you get the details of the gown, you end up getting the skin tones of the person really coming out overly dark, and you won't have the actual tonal range of the browns, of the melanin browns. So usually what I do to expand the dynamic range of such simple cameras, I come into the picture style right here, and then right here, and then I just press the info button here, and I get onto the contrast knob. By default, the contrast is usually in the center. So what I do here, I just come, I get the contrast, and I just crush it out. I remove it and put it all in the negatives. You know, that is how I set up this camera for pictures. So the rest is aperture, shutter speed. I know if you're a photographer. Then saturation, this is now a personal preference. I usually love my pictures a bit saturated, but this is now a question of taste. If you don't want your pictures saturated, you can always keep it in the middle. Even if you choose to use a portrait picture style, if you're shooting dark skin, if you're shooting people of dark skin, I recommend crushing the contrast, because the dynamic ranges of these cameras are not very good at capturing the different shades of brown. Even if you're shooting furniture of different color tones, a dark brown furniture table wouldn't come out very nice, you know, if it is next to a light brown furniture table. So it's always better, in order for you to get that tonal range, it's always better you crush down the contrast so that you get those things well aligned. You may be saying at this point that, hey Oscar, we can fix this in Photoshop. Truthfully, you can fix it in Photoshop, but I prefer having it here on camera, where I have that whole tonal range done on camera, because there are certain incidences where I have to use JPEGs as JPEGs, where I need to post the picture there and then without me going through the post-production process. There you have it. That's how you set up your Canon camera for dark skin. If you're a photographer who wants to level up the quality and outlook of your final images, no matter the camera, the one thing you should be focusing on learning and mastering right now is high-end retouching. In the past 10 years, I've helped thousands of photographers like you kickstart their businesses, and I can tell you, high-end retouching is by far the most important skill any new photographer can learn. It adds 10 times more value to an average image. And it is for this reason I've put together a masterclass called Retouching Secrets, where I teach you everything I've learned from retouching thousands of images for my portrait and commercial clients. Inside, you're going to discover the basics of high-end retouching, the tools you need. I will reveal to you the image assessment secrets to help you retouch any kind of photo, no matter the lighting. You will also get an overview of the color theory, an introduction to professional retouching techniques. Then after, I will show you over a dozen real-world examples where you will watch over my shoulder as I work on real client photos, and you will learn how to retouch the most common scenarios you are likely to come across. With these tools, techniques, and secrets in your hands, you will be able to create amazing high-end glamour images for your clients, no matter the camera you are currently using. So if you are ready to take your photography to the next granular level, click the link down here and get started right now.